welcome back. Welcome to episode one. I suppose, like we called last episode 0, right?
Yeah.
And that was recorded actually 12 years ago, and we're just now getting back to it. So this
Yeah.
could be episode one, whatever, of Logsday morning.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful sunny morning at 3:21. I already completed my WoW dailies. Woke up around noon. Had an argument with my
Nice.
friend over text. That's always productive.
Yeah.
Um, haven't eaten yet.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
productive morning. I saw on the news there's something about a food truck event in like Washington D.C. There was some kind of like vendor. I don't really
Oh,
know.
really?
It was some kind of yeah, I don't know. There was some kind of movement outside the Capitol building to get all the political like people who disagree on the internet to get them together and kind of just have a like peace offering, you know what I'm saying? Like a
Oh,
coming
yeah.
together to have a healthy discussion and discourse without, violence or protest. And there was food being served. It was kind of like a Thanksgiving dinner type scenario. That at least that's
Yeah.
what I've gathered from the
Yeah.
from what I've seen, that it was some sort of, it's just nice to see both sides extending the olive branch, you know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, listen, we've had our disagreements, but let's be productive about this." That's
It's
what
kind of an
happened.
interesting thing to do.
Yeah, that's what
Like,
happened, right?
different. Yeah.
I, I mean, let me double. I just want to get my facts right. Let's see. Capitol building. This says protest. I don't. Oh, oh. Okay, looks like I got it a little off.
Hmm.
There was some sort of, maybe not, you couldn't necessarily refer to it as like a peace gathering as much of like uh, a protest with a certain amount of violence. Isn't it funny to see people completely 360 on opinions? Like there's people
Yeah.
who are like the cops are heroes. There's people who are like there's not enough cops now. They're like, "What are you doing? Kill these people, tear gas these people." It's like, "Wait a second. Wait a second. I seem to
Yeah.
recall like 3 days ago you were like, is it too much? Do you want the authoritarian like regime to rape you, or do you want like you kind of have to like pick? Like, do you want the? And I know people are sick of hearing this because they're saying, well, it's a different scenario because of the complexities of the blah 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 blah. But it's like it also isn't that different. It's like okay,
Yeah.
protest is out of hand. People are against the police. It's like, are they heroes like the nurses supposedly? That's
Hmm.
another thing. Can we? I know they didn't sign up for this. This is more than they can handle. This is unfair. They're under a lot of stress. The nurses, I
Yeah.
mean. But like heroes, let's slow down. Some of them are. Let's just slow down a little. Some of them
Okay.
are
Okay.
heroes. Let's say that. That's fair. Some of them are
Yeah.
heroes, but some of them, I'm sure, are like bitchy, overweight white women who spend most of their shifts on break smoking a cigarette. And that's what makes
Yeah.
the other ones the heroes. They're doing the work, you know what I'm saying? And then,
Hmm.
fucking Denise or whatever is outside just like, I've been having a stressful morning, okay? My son is over fucking his girlfriend in the room right next to me, and she's living in now, and I can't afford this shit, and this is the. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's understandable, but I don't know if I'd go as
Yeah.
far as to call you a hero on social media.
They're not really getting their hands dirty, as much
Right.
as
You
the
need
the
it. You
other
need more
ones.
blood on your hands.
Yeah.
I'll call you a hero if you DM me an image of you, hands soaked in blood, screaming, crying, and you're just sitting on this pile of dead COVID patients, and you're like, "We lost another one! No!" Then I'll call
Yeah.
you a
Yeah.
hero. Then I will tweet. I'll make a Twitter account, and I will tweet because oh, he doesn't have a Twitter. What is he? A cringe? Not based. Penis
God.
pilled fucking futurist. Ted Kaczynski Unabomber pilled retard. I'll make a Twitter
Yeah.
account and I will post an image of you. You know what? You know what I'll do? I'll start a GoFundMe that says, BIPOC nurse, um, sex worker. Please donate so she can get supplies for her OnlyFans.
Oh
Do you think it would be
yes.
immoral? Do you think it would be immoral if I just started like a GoFundMe and just claimed that I was like a Native American sex worker? Would
I
that be
mean,
immoral? Would that be wrong?
there's no way they, you know, prove it
You know what? You know what?
as long as you're like very vague,
Would that
I
be
think
wrong?
that's all right. Yeah.
Self-identifying Native American
Yeah,
sex
yeah, yeah.
worker
That's okay.
needs money to buy a podcast mic so this can sound reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting as an experiment is if I did it like more of as an experiment and I saw how much money I could raise and how many Instagrams I could get to spread it around just to like show the ridiculousness of the like GoFundMe system and then
Yeah.
I donated all the money to charity. Or I
That's
could go
true.
360 and donate all the money to like bannedvideos.com and like QAnon crowdfunding source. Like that would be
Oh.
really funny if I just was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Jokes on you, you fucking idiots! You just donated to QAnon. Be more careful next time."
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd even find like a group that would like how do you donate money to QAnon? There's no like, is there a
Oh, that's
QAnon
true.
GoFundMe? Like,
I mean, I'm sure there's like, I guess people that are higher up that you could probably reach out to.
well, QAnon is very
Possibly?
similar to like Antifa, where there's no like hierarchy structure or like organization.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, labeling either of them as like a terrorist group is like kind of hard because it's like okay, but like people like half identify with it. It's like it's barely a group at all. It's just kind of like it's an idea.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the Q people, honestly. It's like
Yeah.
none of this stuff is happening. Like Obama and Michelle are still Barack and Michelle are still like, vacationing wherever. It's like they're not behind
Really?
bars. You didn't go in the
Yeah.
Capitol building and find the pit of children that Nancy Pelosi's pissing on or whatever. It's like
That's true. Yeah.
it's like
Kind of weird.
give you got to give up at some point. It's like admit you're wrong. It's like okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they're well, let me preface this by saying I think kids are being fucked within our government. I literally think that. But do I think it's
Yeah.
as far as every single person is in on it and there's a pit of children that fucking Cuomo or something is like the pit master of? He's like the fucking, in Return of the Jedi, the like guy who wrangles the Rancor and he's like shirtless
Yeah.
and he like
Yeah.
cries when it dies. Yeah, it's like that guy. He's got like a spear and it's just this like thing full of children and like Hillary Clinton's like Jabba. She's like on the little stage that rolls forward, and she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
more children for the pit." And she like rolls forward and looks down into the pit of children. Is like AOC just like rounds them up and like like fucks them with a strap on one by one. Like I don't think it's that level. And the reason is because if it was that level, we'd be a lot more fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to be having this conversation if that's where things were at. Like
That's true.
the reason we're
But
able to
there
have
isn't 100% chance that that isn't happening.
there's at least a 10% chance that the country is fucked enough to where there's a 10% chance that what I just described is completely and
Yeah.
utterly a 100% fact. But I'm not willing
Yeah.
to become a Q person for like a 10% thing. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying?
Yeah. That's reasonable, yeah.
I mean, here, if you're a Q person listening, because here's the thing: is they're gonna be like, "Well, we're not all extremists. We don't all believe that there's a pit of children being fucked. That's an exaggeration." Well, yeah, it's for the sake of comedy. So first of all, fuck off. Second of all, uh,
Mm.
you think Trump is like against all this? Like he's like, you know what? If Trump came out and was like, "The Q people are right. I'm I stopped the pedophiles. Hillary Clinton is behind bars. I've rounded up all the Satanist pedophiles, and I'm not one of them somehow. And they're I did it. It's done. Then I would say, you know what, Q people, you were right. I was
Yeah,
wrong.
that would be insane.
I was
Yeah.
wrong. I should have
Yeah.
been older during the 2016 election and been able to vote, and I should have voted for Trump and said and been like, hey, this
Mhm.
guy knows what he's doing. He's rounding up the pedophiles. But like, you can't disregard the fact that he was friends with Epstein, and I'd be
Yeah.
willing to bet that Bill Clinton and Trump are like best friends. Up until 2016, probably they were like best friends. They were
Yeah.
like, this is what people do. It's like this is what's happening. Is they're all friends. The blue and red stuff doesn't matter to them. They're friends. They want to fuck kids. Maybe not in the White House. Maybe on an island with their socialite friend. But
Yeah, yeah.
they want to f kids. They want to drink baby's blood or whatever. They do weird things. This is just the reality of it, and it knows no party lines. So when you're
Mhm.
like, it's a party thing, and you're like fighting over it, it's just like, okay, but you're just gonna ignore the fact that this stuff irrefutably happened. They don't care about
Yeah.
politicians don't care about politics. They care about
Yeah,
they
exactly.
care about well your vote. And
Mhm.
but what I mean by they don't care about politics, they don't care about actual governing. They care
Yes.
about,
Yeah.
pandering. And there's an argument to be made that like it doesn't matter if they're pandering as long as it's fair laws. Like I'm not that's what I'd
Mhm.
say is I'm not going to complain and be like, "Oh no, they're pandering to us by doing all these fair laws and being reasonable and not corrupt." Like that would be fine to me, but that's not happening. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay if they're pandering if they're doing fair laws, but like and just being reasonable and doing what the people want, which is what democracy is supposed to be, but that's not happening. This is a good first
Yeah.
episode to be really controversial because you want to spark up
Yeah.
an argument in the comments. That's how you get popular.
Exactly. Like, people will notice it.
What if I don't believe
Well,
anything I'm saying? I'm just trying to boost the numbers. Like I wouldn't put it past me.
yeah. Yeah.
Here, I believe this is what I believe. I believe that there's not one central power, like there's no Illuminati or grand Jewish conspiracy or anything like there's no
Mhm.
central group of Satanist pedophiles who run the government because if that was the case, things would be worse than they are now. It would be full 1984. But
Yeah.
I do believe that there are several power groups and families and corporations and individuals who compete in like this bizarro corruption arena to have power in the United States and financial gain and this gain and I believe some of them are pedophiles or Satanists or Satanist pedophiles or just weird ritual people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. That's understandable, yeah.
and I don't believe like some of these people believe that like they're all this certain race or they're all this certain party or like no, I
Yeah.
think that's part of the competition. But what I do think is that one of those alliances is not Republicans and Democrats. I think these groups use that as a means to an end.
Mhm.
Like it's not like, yeah, it's a power struggle between the Republicans and Democrats. Like, no, it's these weird power families like the Clintons and the Kennedys and the fucking whatevers and the Bushes and plus like, these major corporations and these weird and like maybe the GOP and whatever have something to play into that, but it's not like they're like these
Yeah.
two forces and one is directly good and one is evil. The government is not two forces where one is good and one is evil, and it's up for you to decide who's good and evil. It's several forces, most of which are evil, fighting each other with corruption and lobbying and weirdness and
Mhm.
blackmailing for power. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. For money, for the ability to fuck kids without getting caught, for the rush of power so you can finally come. This is what happens to these people. When you start getting rich, you're like, well, I fucked every hot girl on the planet. The only way I'm ever gonna come is when I mean, there's two paths. It's the Epstein, Clinton, Trump path where you gotta fuck kids, or it's
Yeah.
the like I need to see someone's head being cut off for me to come. Like
Yeah, yeah.
either way, you get to a certain point. This is why they say more money, more problems. And I'm not talking just being rich. Like millionaires maybe get to this point. I'm talking closer to like Jeff Bezos, Trump money. Like it's not. I guess Trump's probably not a billionaire. But like it's not normal what you'd consider rich money. But like extremely wealthy, extremely elite. You get to this point where these people are you do realize these people are depressed. They want to kill themselves. Like the only thing that
Yeah.
keeps them going is the fact that they are the most rich and powerful forces of the universe or the world as far as we know. And they want to
Mhm.
and the fact that they can get away with coming while someone's head is sawed off on a video right in front of them or they're completely and utterly just fucking up a child's life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, you see it in people like Michael Jackson. He gets to a
Mhm.
point, the fame gets to you, the money gets to you, and it's just, I want to fuck the kid from Home Alone. That's what happens. Please don't clip that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're sitting there, right? Imagine this. You're in your mansion.
Mhm.
People are obsessed with you. You have to pay exorbitant amounts of money just to have security, keep people off of you. Your dad beat the shit out of you for years when you were a kid. You're you're so absurdly famous and rich that you can't even comprehend that level of fame and wealth. You're sitting on the couch in your mansion. You're watching Home Alone.
Yeah.
Is it not completely insane to think that that person might be watching Home Alone and say, "I want to put my cock in him." You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
yeah, yeah, that
I'm
makes
not saying
sense. Yeah.
I want that or I'd be like that. I'm saying someone in that situation, is it not completely insane to say that they would reach a point where they look at the Home Alone kid and they say, "You know what? I think I might like to experience that." Because your mind has been so twisted by
Mhm.
the absurdities of fame. It's like that's the point that these people get to.
It's just like the next level, pretty much.
Yeah, it's
They've
like
yeah,
it's ascension.
exactly.
These
Yeah.
people think that they're ascending to like the level of I mean what's the goal of these people? They're like we got to reach utopia. Like some of these people must have weird philosophies like I read some weird book, I got to reach utopia, but then they end up just fucking a child. It's like somewhere you go wrong.
Yeah.
That's what scares me about Bezos is I feel like he's planning something cuz he's very quiet and he's like well apparently
It
Elon just
is.
surpassed him, but like he's one of the wealthiest people alive and he's just like sure, like where's that money going? You know what I'm saying? Like sure he has his mansions and all the absurdities that every rich person has, but like he has such stupid money that it's like mansions like that hardly put a dent in his money. I
Yeah.
think maybe he's reinvesting some of it. Maybe he's trying to take over the world. Honestly, what I truly believe actually though is that he wants to leave the earth. That's what I think he's doing. Cuz Amazon has
Yeah.
their weird little space program. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's the plan. Is the rich people are like, we're gonna get richer and richer and richer, and we're gonna pretend nothing's bad, and
Mhm.
then go to Mars,
They're just
and
gonna leave.
it's gonna be literal Blade Runner. It's gonna the plot of Blade Runner is the future.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, we are out of here. Bye. And they're like,
Yeah.
but wait, we are the glaciers are melting. Florida's underwater. It's fucking there's no economy anymore and they're like see ya we were lying to you the whole time there was no plan bye we were fighting for these weird power structures just so we could leave the planet bye bye and we're like
Yeah.
oh I get it so you were using us
Mhm.
you were using the masses as a means to escape the masses oh you didn't care about poverty I should have seen that but instead people are like I just I want more of these lesser of two evil elections, okay? I want to go on the same
Mhm.
tide of going back and forth between red and blue because that's politics. People go and they cast their vote and then they're like, "Well, I'm done. I did my democracy. I did it. I
Yeah, yeah.
participated. It's like, okay. I elected another pedophile. I participated. Yay! Okay.
Millionth year in a row.
Fake democracy. Yay! I mean,
Ah,
things started. I think things started going downhill for America, like the Kennedys, and then that process was I
yeah.
think made more rapid by 9/11. I
Hmm.
think things
Hmm.
were going downhill. You got the Kennedys. Things are weird. Things are strange.
Hmm.
Assassination.
Yep.
9/11 happens, and that speeds up like 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, say what you will about 9/11, I don't think I don't think that we directly orchestrated 9/11. I think it's likely that we had some sort of indirect hand in its occurrence, as in there might have been some funding,
Mm.
there might have been some knowledge that there was going to be some sort of attack. Maybe not. I mean, maybe it was totally
Yeah.
just an attack that then they happened to say, "Hey, we're going to use this as a, you know, as a way to leverage ourselves into like doing the Patriot Act and stuff." Which is an
Yeah.
interesting phenomenon because it's like, is it a total lose lose? Because when we have a common enemy, it seems we're kind of effed because well, that's also the boomers' fault for letting shit like the Patriot Act go on under their noses. They're just like, that sounds good. We're
Yeah. That's
patriots,
Patriot in
damn
the
it.
name.
But divided we fall as well. So it's like, is it a lose lose, this great divide along the country, or is it a. But I mean,
Hmm.
I guess it's better to have a common enemy because, like, back in World War II, it was such a clear evil.
Yeah.
It didn't go down like 9/11. It's not like that. That's why I say this stuff started. I mean, obviously there was corruption back then, but the real bad stuff shit started like a little before the Kennedys or whatever. Because it's
Hmm.
like in World War II, it's not like they said, "Oh, we have this common enemy. Let us use this as a way to be weird." I'm not like the best in World War II history, so I know there's gonna be 1,000 comments like, actually, I'm a redditor and I'm weird. Which
Actually,
actually, you know what? I don't care. Like, educate me. I'm just saying things. Half of
yeah.
this is meant to be funny. Like, don't be like you're a fucking you're dumb. You're not smart. It's like, okay, like
Yeah.
I can be wrong. Like, being wrong doesn't make you like a fucking retard. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm wrong. All right, our first sponsor this week is a little known group. Thank you so much for sponsoring to QAnon. This is a great platform to express your opinions. These people are paying me to. There's some kind of bizarre sequence of numbers and letters that I'm not really gonna say, but I'm supposed to say those. That's what it says on the read. But thank you so much to QAnon for sponsoring. If you guys are interested in QAnon, you can't find them anywhere on the internet because our overlords have purged them completely. So if you're interested, I believe they have a meeting on Wednesdays. Let me look up where it is.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, they meet on Wednesdays outside of the Capitol building at Washington D.C. So you don't have to bring food. They have little carts there with like hot dogs and stuff if you're hungry. And they
Sweet.
meet and they just discuss, stuff. So shout out to QAnon. Thanks for sponsoring. There's no coupon code or anything. It's more of just a call to join their little group. It's a fun club. The Log is a part of it. He's a very devoted member.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes they play dress up, and the Log likes to wear his little horned fur outfit. And
Mm.
so yeah, Log
It's
is
a
a
fun.
big fan of Q. I'm gonna get you fucking like. People are gonna destroy you in the comments like, is he actually? Is he actually? So yeah, Log is a big Q member.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to Q. Thanks for sponsoring. And our next sponsor is Antifa. Am I saying that right? Can you see on
Yes.
the reader Antifa? Log is a huge fan. Anything you want to say about the group? I know you're pretty devoted and you know all the ins and outs
Yeah,
there.
honestly, I love their work. Very interesting group of people. Um,
Yeah.
big
So
follower.
yeah, so shout out to Antifa. Thanks for sponsoring the show. They do a lot of good stuff for the community. They really help out fighting, the fascism that exists. So they paid me to tell you to join their group. So thank you Antifa.
Love
Shout
you
out.
guys.
Yeah, Log's a huge fan. He's part of it, and you should be too.
Mhm.
That's what they're paying me to
Yeah,
tell you. They're paying me to tell you you should be a fan of Antifa. So thank you to Antifa for sponsoring the show. We hope we can keep this sponsor along with the other one we had.
yeah.
And yeah, thank you all our sponsors, and let's get back to the show. It's not like in World War II there was a clear weirdness happening. Maybe there was a little bit of weirdness, but like in 9/11 they kind of blatantly under the boomers' noses were like, "Hey, we're going to be weird now." And I use the boomer term very what's the opposite of sparingly? I use it liberally.
Like, yeah, yeah.
I use it like a liberal blue-haired cuck, okay?
Yes.
Um because I know boomer, refers to the generation boomer, but I basically use it more as like a way to talk about like the American dream ignorance is bliss like drone.
Yeah.
Like my parents
Mm.
would be a good example, but they're not part of the boomer generation, they're what are they? Gen X? What?
Yeah, Gen X, pretty much.
So what is it?
Dang.
Boomer, Gen X, millennial, Gen Z?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Who fucking cares anymore? What was the other thing I was gonna say? What did I see? It's hard to talk about like it's hard to do a show like this where you're supposed to talk about funny things when like there's no experiences anymore. Not that I really go out
Yeah.
much without COVID, but like what am I going to say like, "Oh, and wow, this hyper specific thing happened that you would not think is funny unless you've played the game extensively," which I haven't really, but like
Mhm.
I should just come in here one day and just explain like a raid in depth. Can this just be a
Yeah.
raid guide show, actually? Can we just completely change this?
All
People are like,
right,
what
yeah,
happened?
sure.
I can't make fun of this. I don't understand. Talk about Q again.
Uh, uh, uh.
Talk about Q so I can get angry. That's what people do.
Yeah,
Is like, uh, you,
that's
you,
most podcasts.
you wanna, yeah, you wanna have something to get mad at. That's what people want these days. It's like, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
that's kind of the
Stop!
way my dad is. He'll get in the car, put on a podcast, and then be like, "Ah, man."
He'll hate listening to things.
Yeah,
Well, that shows a level of
yeah,
maturity, though, that you're able to listen to something that you don't agree with.
mm,
Um,
yeah,
because there's some people that get lost in this echo chamber of views where they're just like, ugh, who's tweeting the things I like? And it's
yeah,
like, okay, the truth probably lies somewhere in between these things. So let's be reasonable about this.
mm,
Um, but reason is becoming less and less of a thing. Like
yeah,
I used to say I believed in like common sense economics, but it's like, but that requires common sense. So
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong because it doesn't seem that people are really interested in that anymore. It's not that
yeah,
people have an inability to have common sense. It's just like that's not interesting. It's like being reasonable
mm,
isn't interesting. What's interesting is putting on a fur horned hat and paint on your
mm-hmm.
face and walking into the Capitol building. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Saying,
it
hey,
is.
this is going to do irreparable damage to liberty and the concept of revolution, the technocracy is going to take advantage of the situation to be able to normalize silencing people and abandoning due process and obeying the mob more so than anything, and revolution is going to be viewed as an immature act, so it's going to be an impossible thing in the future when we actually need it, when we're in an actual fucking whatever it is, neoliberal, neo-fascism, fucking
Mm.
dystopia. Instead of saying that's reasonable, so let me stay at home and play World of Warcraft. What's
Yeah.
interesting is to take a few mentally disabled women and walk up the stairs of the Capitol and get maced and take a few selfies. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The world is turning more and more towards like, let's do something fun. Let's not do
Yeah.
something reasonable and real. Let's do something
No, no, no.
fun. Let's go on the internet and say that we're getting special messages from an alphabet person in the White House or wherever who's infiltrated and pretend we're part of this rebellion group. That's fun.
Yes.
That is
That is
fun.
pretty fun. Yeah.
That's what modern day people are focused on. Fun, which
Mhm.
is not what moderates and whatevers who voted for Trump last election, Biden this election are concerned with. They're concerned with a little thing called the economy. They don't
Mhm.
care about fun. They don't want to have fun. They want to have jobs. People don't
Yeah.
understand jobs anymore. A
Yeah.
job is where you go and you do a task and someone gives you a probably unfair amount of money for said task so that you
Mhm.
don't die. These people aren't scared of death anymore.
Exactly.
They walk into the Capitol building and
Yeah.
get shot. They're not scared of death.
Yeah, they'll just break a
Newsflash:
window, climb in. Like,
death
it's not really a big deal.
death is painful. Number 1.
Mm.
Number 2, number 2, it's over after that. You can't
Yeah.
have any more fun when you're dead. Do you understand? When you've
Yeah.
been shot by a cop. When you start throwing things at the cops and they shoot you. Is it fair? Probably not. Are you still going to be dead? Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like Sam Hyde has a bit about this, like where during like he on like an episode of Hyde Wars during like the BLM stuff, he's like, you know, it's fair to protest and all, but like you don't want to get arrested. That's not fun. Like that will destroy your life. It's not cool. Like you see that
Mm.
video of the unmarked vans like dragging people away, and it's like
Yeah.
they're like the people are saying, "What's your name? We'll get you out of there." It's like, okay, can we stop playing make believe? Because again, it's discrediting rebellion. And I hate to make a
Mm.
science fiction reference, but what a revolution is supposed to look like is in Star Wars, the rebellion. A
Yeah.
organized group of actual authority figures. I hate to break it to you. I'm mostly libertarian saying this. I'm not like I hate authoritarianism, but you have to have a little semblance of authority and hierarchy to organize this
Mm.
sort of thing properly. You can't have this
Yeah.
fun little high school play where you're going out like spray painting Coney 2012 on the fucking sidewalk. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. It's
It is
fun.
fun. Yeah.
But is it getting you anywhere? Not really. Is it getting you arrested and killed? Yes. Like there
Mm.
should be outrage. There should be outrage over like BLM and stuff like that like deserves a level of outrage, but it's like let's actually organize and let's I mean, I don't want to go back to like burning down Target and stuff, but let's, do a thing. Let's get numbers involved, but not numbers that are going to go around spray painting. Not numbers that aren't teenagers. I mean, that's the problem of having like all these boomers around is it's like most of the people are like, not willing. The people that are willing to do this are teenagers. So it's like, let's get some people
Mm.
that are adults. Let's get some stable people that are willing to sacrifice just a little bit for a reasonable message. I mean, that's what happens in Star Wars. It's like we have
Yeah.
these governments, these planets, these people. They have real warships. They are actual contender for the Empire. We have the Empire right now. You can say the Emperor is Trump. You can say the Emperor is Biden. You can say it's Hillary. You can say it's the Jews. You can say whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable that people across party lines can agree that something's not working, right? Something's not functioning. So instead of
Mhm.
dividing and fighting each other, it's like
Yeah.
and this is a waste of time for me even saying because it's not like someone's gonna be listening. They're gonna be like, yeah, it's right. We may disagree on Q, but I need to go and I need to shake one of these blue hairs' hands, and we need to march down to the Capitol building and fight for something that's worth marching to the Capitol building for. He's right.
Mm.
No one's ever gonna do that, but like, I mean, I am right, but no one's ever gonna
Mhm.
say that. They're gonna be like, actually, you're wrong. It's this whole Q conspiracy, and it's this thing, and it's the whatever, and it combines, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It's like a little Rubik's cube. You just gotta figure it out. You just gotta wake up.
Yeah.
You're not based or red pill. You're not woke. You're cringe. You're cringe. It's like, okay, so I could sit there and argue about each individual point, but like, you see what we're doing? We're distracted. We're having a little
Yeah.
fun, but we're distracted. It's
Mhm.
like, that's another thing that upsets me. Is like, I'd almost rather it be BLM people marching the Capitol building because back when that was happening, I was saying like, guys, let's not burn down small businesses or large businesses. Like, I hate when people are like, you can only say you can't burn down small businesses. It's good to burn down corporations. This goes back to the thing. It's like, did you forget about jobs?
Mhm.
Did you forget that people need jobs? It sucks. It's not fun. The world is hell,
Yeah.
yeah, but like, people need jobs to be able to make money and be alive. So let's not burn down the corporations either unless I mean let's deconstruct the power structures that make them corrupt and fix them, but let's not just
Mhm.
like destroy. But that's a tangent. It's like, let's say, "Hey, what a wonderful kind of no, let's say, "Hey, we can march into the Capitol building, but first of all, we need 10 times the amount of people. And second of
Mhm.
all, we need to be fighting for a blatant systematic restructuring rather than, hey, our guy lost in a relatively fair democratic election." Like, really? That's what the first real rebellion in years, that's what it's about?
Yeah.
That some orange, like, pedophile lost to a geriatric pedophile? It's like,
Yeah.
that's it? There
Yeah.
needs to be like 100 times the amount of people that were there at the food truck cookout
Mhm.
by the Capitol building, and they need to say, "Hey, here's we have written down a list of actual demands, not just I'm upset. We have written down actual things that need to change, and we're going to experiment trying a few of these things out in government because we're not waiting 10 years for each law to be passed because by then we're going to be in a fucking technocracy dystopia." It's like,
Yeah.
and people are going to say, he's throwing around big words. He's throwing big words. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. I don't care. All I'm saying is let's get 100 times the amount of people we had. Let's, yes, oh, I'm going to get fucking, arrested by the FBI for this. Let's march down peacefully and say, hey, we are the people of the United States of America, not a weird pedophile group. And we're going to say, hey, let's just try a few new laws out. Let's just try a few things. Not eat the rich and eat the everyone. Stop eating people. You've already gone too
Yeah.
far. No eating people. Because
Yeah.
because then you're just as bad as the people who are eating babies who rule the government. It's like,
Exactly. Drinking their adrenochrome.
yeah, exactly. You're becoming the adrenochrome consumer
Exactly.
when you are talking about eating people. So no cannibalism. Just this goes
Mm.
back to the concept of reason. It's just like, hey, we're gonna try a few things, and you as the government, you can't kill all of us because there's hundreds of thousands of people here, and some of them are in the military because it's not like the military isn't comprised of people and just follows whatever. Although a lot of them are fucking drones. It's like we're not like this isn't a fight. It's like either you're gonna massacre thousands of American people and not be able to kill all of them because there's not enough people here, or we're gonna try a few new things with laws.
Yeah.
We're not gonna eat you. Relax. Like that's all these people need. It's like fucking Pelosi. Someone needs to give her a pat on her shoulder and be
Yeah.
like, "Listen, relax. We're not gonna eat you. It's fine. We forgive you for spray painting your own house and putting a pig's head there or paying some teenager to do it. It's
Mm.
okay. But we're gonna try a few new things. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna so just take a break, take a vacation, move your huge knockers aside, and we're just going to talk this out and we're going
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
reasonable. We're going to give some freedoms back to the people. We're going to give I don't know what people want. Like you can do the whole healthcare thing, whatever. I mean,
Mhm.
uh, do the healthcare, whatever. Do the stimulus check. Don't cancel rent because then people aren't. Then how do the landlords make money? Like you gotta be concerned
Yeah.
about everyone. Say like we're gonna give some freedoms back to the people. We're gonna experiment with some laws. If those don't work, we're gonna change them around. That's another thing that like is hard because it's like once a law is in place, it's hard to change it. It's like, well, then why would we ever pass laws? Because like you need to be able to change it. I almost feel like there should be some kind of reviewing system of the laws. It's like because if you try it and it doesn't work, you got to be able to say like, "Hey, we're gonna have to change this either back or to something else."
Yeah, wasn't there something like that on the ballot this year? Or well, last year technically.
Was there?
It was like they had a thing where they would review a law once it was signed in on one of the ballots,
Oh
and
yeah, I
I
think
think it was like a 3-year period. They'd kind of like
yeah, like an
review it and change
experiment.
it.
But the
Yeah,
problem did it not go through or something?
I think it did go through. Yeah.
The problem is that like the boomers are like scared of change. They're like, we need
Hmm.
a moderate. We need things to go
Yeah.
back to the Obama era. We just need things to go exactly how they were going. We need a moderate. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying we need a radical. I'm not saying we need a tweeter like Trump. I'm not saying any of that. We need someone who's not an extremist, but a radical in that they're like, we need some structural changes to the inherent system, not like slight changes or extremist changes that are completely irrelevant.
Hmm.
Like, it's like Trump came in and was like, let's do the wall. Obviously, that was a lie, anyways. And people who fell for that shit are fucking stupid, and it didn't happen. It's like, I don't know. Like I want like the wall is an extreme change, but I don't want something extreme that's completely irrelevant to the problems of America. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, we could use without the pharmacy country below us, but like, I mean, not without it. Like we should level it, but like we could use with all. We could try and I'm trying not to get canceled here, but I mean, it's already too late. But like, we
Oh
could
yeah.
try and avoid drugs being trafficked into our country, but the way is not with like xenophobia and putting up a wall that wouldn't stop them anyways. Like
Yeah.
like in Attack on Titan. It's like saying first of all we can make certain drugs illegal. Honestly, I think most drugs should be legal because I really don't
Mhm.
care what other people do. And if
Yeah.
they, can't work because they're on drugs, then it's just more jobs for me. So it's like, what's the fucking problem?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
think the main drugs that should be illegal are the ones that make people violent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem.
Hmm.
But, like, if you want to be a total heroin junkie and just live that life, I guess the fear is that, like, it would become so rampant, but, like, it's already so rampant. Like,
Yeah.
if people want it, they get their hands on it, period.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Kind of doesn't matter.
telling people not to do it is making them want to do it. I almost think there'd be less heroin addicts if you could just have it be legal because then it's like
Yeah.
there's less of a stigma that makes like teens want to start with something small and then get up there and then people in like shittier impoverished places move up
Hmm.
the drug ladder until they're deceased.
Yeah.
It's just you gotta have some faith, but it's tough because you gotta have some faith in the reason of people, and where things are going right now no one has that faith. Like a lot
Hmm.
of my political ever changing like ideas revolve around people being reasonable, but it's like okay, but like I said, people are more interested in having a little fun.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, why don't you save the fun for not politics? Like why don't you go to like a water park or something? Have fun there.
Exactly.
Why don't you join my guild and do a couple raids with me and WoW?
Yeah.
The whole point of this rant is just to convince anyone hearing this to play WoW with me, actually. I have no political opinions whatsoever. This entire podcast has been devoted completely to have people carry me so that I can fucking uh, breeze through heroic raids and like move
Mhm.
up to mythics one day. Like that's the just when you're typing your comment about being angry, when you're having little arguments, keep in mind the entire purpose of this is just to get you to play World of Warcraft. So just and you're
Yeah.
not gonna have fun. I know you want to have fun. You're only gonna have fun a little bit, okay? But
Yeah.
I'm just saying before you get angry politically, keep in mind I'm here to make you laugh and make you play World of Warcraft. Those are my two purposes. And if you don't play, then take everything I took seriously, actually, and 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 go to your legal heroin distributor, buy as much as you can, take out a fucking loan with the bank to get heroin, and just inject it into your eyeballs and
Hmm.
then walk up to the Capitol building and peacefully walk in the doors of the. No, let's switch it up.
Okay.
Walk into the White House and get sniped by Secret Service while high on heroin. How about that? That's what you should do if you're
Yeah.
not gonna play WoW with me. If you're not gonna play WoW with me, fuck you. First of all, this goes for you too, Log. You should be injecting heroin as we speak.
Okay. Hold
You
on.
should
Let me
be
get it.
Yeah, you should have a needle in every vein in your body, just making the pain go away. That's the problem with heroin, is that people who do it say that it feels so good. They say
Yeah.
it's like the best thing ever. It's like
Yeah.
it's like kind of funny. It's like, is it worth it? Like you start questioning like, I mean, I'm in a lot of pain right now. Should I just
Yeah.
should I just become a heroin addict?
See what the buzz is about, you know?
Yeah, clearly I mean, it's got a following. It's got a decent following. This is how people get into
Yeah.
Q. They're like,
Yeah.
it seems fun. Look at this guy. He's wearing a little bear outfit with horns or whatever, a bison fur or something.
Yeah, he's having a
You
good
can put
time.
face on your paint on your face, but then people get caught up in it. Same. It's the same thing as hair. That's the title of this episode.
Hmm.
Q and Antifa are heroin. You get caught up in it.
That's
You're having
good.
fun, but then all three of those things end up in the same place. Q, Antifa, and heroin end up in jail. That's where you meet,
Hmm.
and that's where you learn to get along. But I don't want to push that idea because then it's like, if you want the
Hmm.
American people to get along, round them up and put them in jail. Give the government the power to put everyone in jail so we are forced to get along. Simple.
Hmm.
Like, imagine that if it's like somehow people take this message where they're like, this is the two things people take from this. They listen to this, they play WoW for 30 minutes, realize leveling is boring, don't understand that's not the main game, and then they go and they try to look for a heroin dealer, can't find one because they live in the
Yeah.
fucking suburbs, and
Hmm.
then they say, hey, then I need to give the government the power to round us up one by one, every person, and put us in jail. That's that's the level of no reason that there is these days. People will be like, they listen to this and they say, I need to continue this cycle. I need to continue pretending like I'm doing my part by just voting in another pedophile every 4 years, and
Yeah.
that I'm doing my whole democracy thing, and I'm gonna continue pretending democracy is real until the
Hmm.
government has the power to put me in jail. That's what people want. That's what people are interested in. They want
Really
to have
seems like
fun
him.
until they're in jail. But here's the problem. Once you get in jail, you're like, wait a second. This is bad. This I'm suffering right now.
Yeah.
I ran out of heroin. I ran out of Q. I ran out of Antifa. This is not fun. Like
Hmm.
these people need a reality check. Jail is horrible.
Hmm.
Yes, you got to sit in Nancy's fucking chair for 3 seconds and probably like sniff the base of it thinking about her fucking huge tits, but and that is fun. But now you're in jail. It's like
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't
it.
find the kids, you didn't find AOC's feet pics, you're in jail.
Mhm.
And the message is really you need to decide, is it worth it? Is it worth the level of fun of doing all that stuff, of throwing firebombs and at cops and stuff and burning down Target when the end game is that I get in jail or I'm dead? And the answer might be yes. I don't care. Maybe the answer is yes. It's fine. It's fun. It's worth the fun. I'm not doing anything else right now. Uh, it's worth
Yeah.
the level of fun I'm going to have to end up in jail or dead. But no matter what the answer is, if the answer is yes, it's worth it, or no, I'm just going to sit here, you should play World of Warcraft, is what I'm trying to say. No matter
Mhm.
what the answer is to that question, you need to log in. You need to start a horde character, not an alliance, because you're not a fucking baby. You need to start a horde character, and you need to start leveling. You need to start grinding. You need to get your shit in order. You need to get to the Shadowlands. Pick a covenant. You need to get your conduits good and your passive trees. You need to get your gear, and then you need to carry Luke through heroic raids until we're ready for Mythic.
Mhm.
Period. I don't see
Yeah.
what's wrong with that. That's my political ideology. You need to decide
Yeah.
whether or not you want to be in jail, and then you need to carry me because I'm really bad at the game. Simple.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
people talk about all these political philosophies. They're like, well, I mean, I don't think I don't think a dictatorship is fair. I'm like, it's fair if it's me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, how about the new tax
Yeah.
plan? New tax plan. 100% of your income is taxed, and it's given to me. Not to a Satanist group, not to back to the people, not to individuals, not to social services, to me. And that's
Just
my
for
real
love.
political opinion. You need to you need to walk into my home. You need to save $15 for a WoW sub and another 40 for the Shadowlands expansions.
Mhm.
Every taxes should be dumped at my front door.
Yeah, yeah.
What's wrong with that? I don't see how that's unfair. Do you?
I mean, not really.
How is
Like,
that unfair to other people
no, no,
for
no,
tax?
it's not unfair. I'd say it just makes sense, I guess.
It's fair. It's what
It's
makes the most sense in the government
yeah,
system. The only law should be 100% of tax dollars are delivered to Luke. Period.
sure.
Like I just don't see why people would disagree. Like what can you think of any gripes that someone would have with that? Like why would they be like no, that's not a good system? Like what I just it's just like what do you call it? Like an indestructible argument.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be able to buy their heroin though.
Well, it's free.
Oh, if it's
It's
free,
everywhere.
then
It's free now under this government. It's free if you find
then
it
uh
on the sidewalk.
yeah, then it's completely fair, yeah.
Can you imagine like the sky is scorched, like it's red. It's like some kind of like dystopian like weird reality. People are just
Yeah.
wandering the streets. They're dumping money at my front door and then they're just picking up needles by the fucking gutter and just like shooting it into their bodies like this new regime is amazing.
Yeah.
The rich people have left. That like the new tax system is what I just described. They're on
Yeah.
Mars. They've merged with AI completely. Like they're these weird cybernetic ascended beings who think that they're the next phase of reality, but maybe they are. We don't really know. They're gone now. They're either that or they're these AI depression simulators who just have to like
Mm.
fuck kids to come, and it just they're either that or they're ascended to total utopia. We don't really know. We're just sitting here on Earth,
Yeah.
injecting heroin,
Yeah.
playing World of Warcraft. The servers are still up somehow, grinding on WoW, giving all our money to me.
Mhm.
I mean, really, where else are we headed with this shit? Where else is. I don't see another end. Where else are we going?
I mean, the only other thing I can reasonably see, like people playing WoW so much that they just have to like they're forced to make Jankum because they can't get off their gaming chair.
Well, that's imply. I mean, what else are
Yeah.
people gonna consume? Like when you can't find a heroin needle, you gotta jank
Yeah.
'em it up.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
only.
way.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, guys, cute. No, 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 no. In all seriousness, huff your jankum, play WoW,
Mhm.
do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Unless it's like killing yourself. Like, don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
Don't. In conclusion, don't kill yourself. Huff jankum, play WoW.
Yeah.
Would it be apt to say goodnight? What time is it now?
Uh
4:14.
yeah.
That's like midday for me.
Pretty much. Yeah. Same.
So, do you wanna close it out? Is there anything you have to say?
Um Good night, guys. Love you. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow on World of Warcraft. Play, or I'm gonna
Yeah.
come to your house. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Good night.